Hi, it's time to work on Silver City. Now, in this episode, I'm actually going to build some buildings that kind of mimic the way that some buildings look that I've already placed before. Like, this building is kind of going to be like that one other building. I don't even know how to explain this really, but it's in the middle of that one square with the office buildings and all that. But yeah, it's kind of going to be similar. I just felt like I would mess around with different designs and such, because I felt like maybe I could actually mimic some buildings throughout the city so that it actually looks like it all fits together in a sense, and I might as well just take the chance to just work on some general ideas on things really. So well, that's going to be the first part of this episode. Now the second part, I'm actually going to build another skyscraper. It's not going to be a very big one, it's just going to be a somewhat standard boring skyscraper that's not even that high. I just kind of felt like I need to flesh out the skyline because we've got a couple of somewhat high towers with spires and all that, and you kind of need some somewhat lower skyscrapers around that as well, just to kind of create a bit of contrast between the interesting buildings and the not so interesting buildings. And of course there is a huge jump when it comes to height, because right now we've got some very low buildings and some like weird high skyscrapers, and there's no real borderline between that. But yeah, this building is pretty simple. It's similar to that other building, but using some more weird stuff that I just thought of. I was just like, oh well, I found those pieces, and I kind of wanted to experiment with Vodheen's glass and girders, and it came out pretty decent, so that's cool. But yeah, this building is pretty much finished at this point. I do want people to note though that this little street, and especially this building, but the other one as well, is kind of inspired by Dutch classicism. So that's why it kind of looks like that, and it kind of reflects many buildings in Holland as well. And the second building is actually going to be kind of like the building on the first little thing. Well, basically it's the first building that I built in the series, except it's going to be a little bit more Main Street-ish. I don't know what kind of building I want it to be. It's just the same idea, except we don't really have that glass thing going on the roof with this one. I'm going to build two towers on both sides, but we do have that nice little corner balcony because I like that idea for some reason. Now, really, there's nothing else to say about this, really. It's just a somewhat simple building, considering the fact that I've already built something like it in this episode. And today it's just been a very weird day for me. Well, it hasn't really been weird, honestly. I just made it weird because I didn't have that much school. So went to school, came home. I was like, I've loads of schoolwork to do, and I was like, I'm just gonna watch a bit of anime. And it was that mood where you get into, okay, that was a good episode. I'll do one more episode, and then I'll do my homework. And then it's late in the evening, and I have to go to water polo practice, and then I'm like, well, I don't want to do my homework. I'm gonna record a Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 video, so here we are. So that's beautiful. So my life is strange sometimes, or at least I make it strange. At least I'm stupid sometimes. What am I even talking about? So yeah, I don't know why I'm talking about that. The building is not that interesting really. I feel like it's probably a bit too similar to the other building. That's why I don't even finish it in this episode. I decided to be a total idiot and just be like, man, this building is meh. I'm not going to remove it, but I'm not going to finish it either yet. I'm just going to move on with something. So I'm not even going to finish this thing in this episode. However, I do kind of like the way that it looks, and especially from the one square in the middle of the town, it has a pretty nice view on it. Don't know what I'm going to do with the little plot of land next to it. I think I'm going to place a building or something like that over there, but I'm very much afraid of my city becoming too much of a concrete jungle. But then again, I am always obsessed with placing flowers and trees and plants everywhere, so perhaps I should not be too afraid of getting a concrete jungle, because my definition of that might be different from the mainstream definition of that, really. So yeah, awesome spires, and really, I feel like, is this even realistic? Because that's what I kind of ask myself, because of course the Main Street set is kind of there to mimic the American, okay, sorry, I need to stop doing that, holy fuck. But it kind of mimics the American style of building stuff, I guess. But then again, I'm still very much afraid of my buildings ending up looking like something that you'd place in a theme park. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with these little towers. And of course, the middle stuff is the boring stuff. So I'm just gonna be me and procrastinate that. And Silverette be like, screw this building. Also screw Alpine's set, because it was glitching at the moment. You could see the little black stones. They're not supposed to be black like that. But yeah, I was like, Silverette be like, yeah, I'm gonna skip that, and I'm gonna move on and work on something else. Now this is going to turn into the worst copy-paste nightmare I've ever had. So if you don't know about the copy-paste method, it's something that you generally can't live without when you're building skyscrapers in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. It's not to be cheap, really. You should not copy-paste anything in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, especially not foliage. It may save a lot of time, but it's gonna end up looking unrealistic in the end. But skyscrapers is probably, yeah, you're probably not going to be able to actually build one without actually using copy-paste, because if you built one without it, you're probably going to spend like 8 hours placing all the pieces, especially considering how high they all are. I don't think you can even build a skyscraper of a decent height without copy-paste, simply because you can't raise objects that high. So what you'd normally do is you'd raise an object, then you'd save it, and then you'd place it again and save that as an object, and then raise it again, and until you reach like your desired ridiculous height. But basically I decided to do that kind of method with this as well. Do the first 2 floors, copy paste it, and then place it. Well, copy it really and then place it. But as you can see, the first wall is kind of messed up, and you can see the thing on the side there, because obviously since that thing is on a half tile placement, I'm gonna copy part of the walls of the building next to it as well. So that was kind of unfortunate. So now I'm left with this mess, and Windows was being annoying as well. So that's why you just saw that screen. I'm sorry for that. And yeah, so also I missed the front. That was really stupid. So I'm gonna mess with the front as well, as you can see, and that doesn't work out either. So then I have to remove all of that again. So what should you do in this case to not be dumb like me? Well, there's something you can do, is opening an empty sandbox and building your building in that. That's what I usually do. I'm pretty sure that that's what I did with the railgun, and it's great for many reasons. It saves you loads of lag. You don't have to work with the lag like I have to in these videos, because my PC is that terrible. And also, of course, you don't have to worry about copy pasting the environment or not copy pasting something that you need to actually get. But the only thing with that is I didn't want to make a separate park file to make my towers in, simply because I'm recording and you wouldn't see the progress as nicely as you can now. Though then again, when I decided to go for this method, I didn't realize that I would later on be an idiot and actually do it like this and mess everything up. But I think in the end, I think at this point the building's pretty much finished, except for the fact that I raised the first 2 floors a bit too high. So that was dumb as well, but in hindsight it was actually pretty cool, because now I can add that little border over there, and that's awesome. And now the roof is also going to be somewhat annoying, because I felt like, okay, I want some kind of a cool roof, just a nice little cornice-ish kind of thing. But the only problem that I had was trying to find good roof pieces and stuff like that. So yeah, in the end I meddled with that for a very long time as well. So great city building adventures, and really what I find actually is that I build the best stuff once I try it for the second time. I don't know oh yeah, I remember when I did that. It was in my normal Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Let's Play that I recorded a station, me building a station for my Wing Rider, and it turned out to be the most crappy station I've ever seen. It was a disaster, and so I decided to throw away that station, open my backup file, remove the videos, and decided to work on something else, and then that came out pretty well. And also with one of the Silver City episodes, but I can't exactly remember which one it was anymore. I built a building and I was like, it was an ugly turd of a building. I didn't want to do anything with that, but then I removed that and decided to record it again and built something else, and then that turned out to be something really cool. I actually think that was the main tower. Yeah, that was the main tower, the prism-shaped tower at the center of the town. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. But yeah, this building is somewhat simple. I feel like this building is very realistic though, and it kind of made the city, although it does ruin the skyline from some angles, but I'm not really too sure about that, and of course everyone's entitled to their opinions, it does make the city look more realistic in a sense. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next episode.